What if the most chilling visions of a forgotten prophet are echoing a truth found in the most ancient book known to humanity, a truth about the very end of our age? Across the centuries, whispers have traveled through time messages hidden in the shadows of prophecies, both ancient and modern. Among them, the haunting verses of Nostradamus speak not just of war but of survival. A world torn apart by a great conflict, and from its ashes only 5 nations rise. Why them? What do they truly represent? And could these visions, alongside the unfolding biblical prophecies, be warning us that we are on the precipice of witnessing the most significant transformation in human history? Welcome to The Truth About Bible Prophecy, where we explore not just the mysteries of the past, but the urgent warnings they carry for our future. If you're drawn to the deep currents of God's divine plan, the unfolding of end-time signs, and the ultimate destiny of humanity, then don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Together, let's walk the path of insight and uncover the profound truths waiting just beyond the horizon, preparing ourselves for what God's promise reveals is coming. Let's begin this journey into one of the most chilling visions, not just of Nostradamus, but of the ultimate biblical prophecy itself. The signs are all around us for those with eyes to see. We live in an era where the drumbeats of war echo across continents, where nations rise against nations, and kingdoms clash with kingdom. Matthew 24:6-7 affirms, "You will hear of wars and rumors of wars. Nation will rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom." This isn't just about geopolitical shifts. It's about a spiritual awakening, a global churning that signals a profound change. Nostradamus, with his cryptic insights, offered glimpses of a future steeped in chaos. Yet even within his dark predictions, there was a glimmer of endurance, a testament to what might survive the fire. However, our focus here extends beyond mere human foresight. We delve into the absolute, unfailing truth of biblical prophecy, the ultimate roadmap for these end-time signs. Are these ancient verses, seemingly from disparate sources, converging to paint a unified picture of what lies ahead? Are the chosen ones being prepared not just for survival, but for a greater purpose in God's unfolding plan? This isn't just a story of nations. It's a direct challenge to your understanding of reality, a call to see beyond the headlines and recognize the profound spiritual battles being waged. We invite you to awaken your spirit, to seek the unvarnished truth, and to prepare your heart for the ultimate fulfillment of God's promise. Before we dive into the chilling visions of nations rising from ashes, we must first confront a more profound mystery. Who was the man whose words have haunted centuries, and how does his earthly foresight align with the ultimate divine prophecy? To truly grasp the weight of Nostradamus's chilling insights, we must first reflect on the man behind the enigma, a figure born not in myth, but in the deeply troubled reality of 16th-century Europe. Michel de Nostradamus, better known as Nostradamus, lived through an age of relentless plague, devastating wars, and the collapse of the established order. He was far more than just a physician and astrologer. He was a deeply observant soul, someone who saw beyond the noise and turmoil of his age into patterns that others tragically overlooked. In 1555, he published Les Prophéties, a collection of 942 cryptic quatrains. These verses were written in a complex mix of archaic French Latin and symbolic language often tied to the movements of the stars and the sky. For hundreds of years, these enigmatic words have drawn attention from historians, skeptics, spiritual seekers, and even modern AI researchers, each group desperately trying to find meaning in their layered, almost coded words. Some claim he foresaw the rise of tyrants like Napoleon and Hitler, while others argue that his writings offer a mirror, one that reflects what we fear or perhaps what we desperately need to see. But among his many visions, there are a handful of quatrains that remain disturbingly out of place, untethered from any known historical events. These verses speak in haunting metaphors of skies, a blaze of iron rain that scars the earth, and of land that refuses to bear life. This phrase may evoke images of famine, radioactive soil, or widespread environmental collapse. Yet, as we examine these human prophecies, a critical truth from biblical prophecy emerges. 2 Peter 1:20-21 states, "Above all, You must understand that no prophecy of Scripture came about by the prophet's own interpretation of things. For prophecy never had its origin in the human will but prophets, though humans spoke from God as they were carried along by the Holy Spirit. This profound distinction is vital. While Nostradamus offered human insights, biblical prophecy is divinely inspired, a direct revelation from God's divine plan. This difference doesn't diminish Nostradamus's observations, but rather places them in a broader context. His gift was to perceive the shadows of future events, much like a sensitive instrument detecting seismic shifts before a great earthquake. But the true meaning, the ultimate purpose, and the path to navigate these end-time signs are found in the unvarnished truth of biblical prophecy. His cryptic language, full of symbolism, demands not just intellectual decoding, but a spiritual awakening to grasp the underlying messages that resonate with God's promise. It challenges us to look beyond the literal, to see the spiritual warfare unfolding, and to understand that the chosen ones are called to discern these signs, not merely observe them. The quatrains of Nostradamus serve as a human echo, a historical testament to humanity's enduring fascination with the future and its desperate need for warning. But for those seeking the ultimate truth, they become a stepping stone, a point of reflection that directs our gaze towards the infallible Word of God. They compel us to ask, if a man operating outside divine revelation could glimpse such terrifying futures, how much more urgent and precise are the warnings given directly by the Creator of the universe? This is not about fear, but about preparation. Not about mere survival, but about spiritual endurance and fulfilling our role in God's unfolding plan. As we prepare to unravel the specific nations that Nostradamus seemingly pointed to consider this, what does it truly mean to receive a warning, whether from human insight or divine revelation? If this exploration into the nature of prophecy has stirred something within your spirit, type the word discern in the comments below. The first vision speaks of an eagle wounded, bleeding, yet refusing to fall. Could this be the mighty United States of America, a nation tested by fire yet holding a deeper promise of resilience in the face of what biblical prophecy calls the end-time signs? Nostradamus's quatrain, "The eagle shall bleed but not die from within its cities, set alight but the flag will not fall from its pole, though midnight's fire clips its wings," paints a chillingly vivid picture. For those who study the symbols in his work, the eagle unmistakably points toward the United States of America, its proud emblem. This eagle is described as wounded, perhaps gravely so, a metaphor for civil turmoil, economic collapse, or even a devastating act of war. Yet it does not die. Fires rage within its cities, speaking to internal strife or destructive events, but its symbol, the flag, continues to fly. What could midnight's fire be, if not some catastrophic event, possibly even nuclear in scale, erupting in the darkest hour at a moment of profound vulnerability? Despite this nightmare scenario, the prophecy offers a message of enduring strength. The wings may be clipped, but the body survives. This paints a chilling yet resilient picture of America, a nation that even when shaken by inner conflict or outside attack, refuses to fall. But is this resilience rooted in something more profound than just military power or its vast geography bordered by two oceans and rich in natural resources? Look at America's history built on reinvention. Economies may falter and trust in leadership may shake, but what has often pulled the United States back from the brink is its profound capacity to adapt and regenerate. From the Great Depression to the seismic shifts of the civil rights struggles to the raw aftermath of 9/11s, the U.S. has repeatedly faced its darkest hours and emerged changed but remarkably intact. Could Nostradamus hint not just at physical survival but at a spiritual transformation when he wrote that the flag will not fall? Was he speaking not just of endurance but a deeper kind of strength? A nation redefined by trials, perhaps, aligned with God's ultimate purpose for the chosen ones. Romans 8:28 affirms, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose." This isn't just a comforting verse, it's a profound truth that even in moments of bleeding and clipping, a divine purpose can emerge. The trials can refine, strengthening the soul of a nation, and its people. The symbolic power of the eagle itself is telling. An apex predator that soars higher than any other bird yet is also known to fly into storms rather than away from them. In many ways, this has been the US's approach throughout history, rushing headlong into conflicts, crises, and global responsibilities that have both elevated and exhausted it. Yet perhaps this is where its strange durability lies. This quatrain, in its poetic mystery, challenges us to look beyond mere physical survival and consider what kind of nation America must become after the bleeding. What truly defines a country's strength? Is it its weapons, its economy, or is it the unwavering will of its people to keep moving forward, to believe, to rebuild, guided by a higher calling and the unyielding truth of God's promise? This message reminds us that chaos doesn't always mean the end. Sometimes it's the painful beginning of renewal, a spiritual awakening that refines and strengthens. True resilience isn't the absence of suffering. It's the refusal to surrender to it, finding strength in God's promise even amidst the storm. As we examine the resilient eagle refusing to fall even when wounded, how might the next prophetic vision reveal an entirely different kind of power? A power rooted in silent growth and ancient wisdom. From the wounded eagle, our gaze turns eastward to a prophecy of a dragon rising not with fire but with breath-building towers on sands of time. How does this ancient vision of China reveal a new kind of power? And what hidden truth about survival does it unveil for the chosen ones? The quatrain concerning China from Nostradamus is haunting. The dragon shall rise with fireless breath-building towers on sands of time. It shall not strike first, but shall not fall its roots deeper than any river's rime. Now envision this image, the dragon often symbolizing China rising not with literal fire but with fireless breath. In today's world, what could that mean? Most likely it points to the invisible weapons of the modern age: cyberpower, artificial intelligence, vast economic leverage, and technological dominance. China's influence doesn't roar with the traditional might of missiles and bombs. It hums through digital networks, global markets, and silent alliances. Unlike conventional warfare, where power is measured in overt military might, China's strength seems to lie in subtlety, immense patience, and strategic foresight. When we hear building towers on sands of time, our minds might immediately jump to the rapid development we've witnessed: skyscrapers rising overnight, high-speed rail connecting entire regions, or vast digital cities emerging from once quiet towns. But why sands of time? Perhaps because this growth, while undeniably swift, is also precariously dynamic, ever-changing, and subject to the unpredictable tides of global stability. Yet this imagery undeniably speaks to China's incredible capacity to build, to transform, to reshape not just its land but the very idea of modern civilization. And when Nostradamus writes, "It shall not strike first but shall not fall," it seems to reflect China's long-standing geopolitical strategy, often defensive, overtly cautious, yet quietly unyielding in its long-term objectives. Could this be the very quality that allows it to survive when others fall into chaos? The formidable resilience of a nation that rarely initiates overt conflict, but almost always endures. But how does a civilization as ancient as China, with over 5,000 years of recorded history, prepare itself not just to survive, but to remain deeply rooted when the end-time signs may sweep away others? Nostradamus ends this particular vision with a truly profound line: its roots deeper than any river's rime. This might point to an unparalleled cultural endurance, a deep national identity, a collective mindset shaped not just by politics or fleeting economic trends but by philosophy, by an unbreakable memory, and by something almost spiritual in its depth. As Proverbs 16:3 advises, "Commit to the Lord whatever you do, and He will establish your plans." Could it be that China's enduring strength lies not just in its size or economic might, but in its profound cultural roots, a steadying force in times of great storm, guided by a wisdom that transcends fleeting trends? In a world increasingly driven by noise, overt power displays, and fast, often impulsive decisions, is it the silent depth that truly survives? When others are shaken by war or economic collapse, might it be the nation that breathes without fire, that grows silently, that endures patiently like the mountain unmoved by the storm that ultimately survives. This vision challenges us to look beyond conventional measures of strength. It invites us to consider what kind of power truly matters both in nations and within ourselves, the power of deep planning, quiet resilience, and an unyielding connection to a heritage that transcends immediate chaos. What does this tell us about the ultimate truth of enduring power? A power that aligns with God's divine plan for the chosen ones. If this perspective on China's resilience resonates with your spirit-type dragon wisdom in the comments. And from the east we journey to the cold lands where the bear sleeps through the fire, watching silently as others expire. What chilling truth does this prophecy about Russia whisper about endurance? And how does it challenge our understanding of strength in the face of the ultimate end-time signs? Nostradamus's vision of Russia is perhaps one of the most enigmatic yet profoundly relevant for our times. The great bear shall slumber in the fire, its silent gaze upon the burning pyre. It shall not move until the last flame dies, then from its depths a new dawn shall rise. The bear has long been the enduring symbol of Russia, a nation known for its vast, often harsh landscapes, its deep historical resilience, and a strategic patience that can seem almost unnerving to the outside world. When Nostradamus speaks of the bear slumbering in the fire, it suggests a nation that, despite being engulfed or surrounded by conflict and chaos, remains remarkably still, observing rather than actively engaging in the initial conflagration. This isn't passive weakness, but a calculated, almost stoic endurance. Consider Russia's history from the Napoleonic Wars to World War II. It has often absorbed immense blows, retreated, and then from a position of apparent vulnerability launched devastating counteroffensives. This slumbering in the fire could symbolize a period of internal consolidation, a strategic waiting game while other powers exhaust themselves. The silent gaze upon the burning pyre speaks to a detached observation of global events, a nation that understands the long game, perhaps even allowing the fires of conflict to consume its adversaries before making its decisive move. This challenges the conventional wisdom that strength lies in immediate, overt action. Instead, it suggests a power rooted in patience, in the ability to withstand, and in the wisdom to know when to act and when to endure simply. But what gives a nation this kind of silent, almost spiritual endurance in a world that constantly demands immediate reactions and loud declarations? Russia's prophetic portrayal suggests a different path to survival. Its strength lies in its vastness, its ability to absorb and retreat, as well as in a profound sense of national identity, a deep-seated stoicism forged by centuries of hardship. This resonates deeply with biblical principles of patience and trust in a higher power. Psalm 46:10 advises, he says, "Be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations, I will be exalted in the earth." This verse, while speaking of individual faith, can also be applied to nations. In the face of overwhelming chaos, true strength may not be found in aggressive posturing, but in quiet confidence, a deep understanding that God's divine plan will ultimately prevail, and that there is a time for stillness, observation, and waiting on the Lord. The prophecy states that the bear shall not move until the last flame dies, then from its depths a new dawn shall rise. This implies not just survival but a resurgence, a rebirth from the ashes of global conflict. It suggests that Russia, after enduring the fire, will emerge into a new era, perhaps playing a pivotal role in the post-conflict world order. This challenges us to consider the nature of true power and resilience in the face of end-time signs. Is it the one who strikes fastest, or the one who endures longest, waiting for God's promise to unfold? This vision invites us to reflect on the power of strategic patience, the wisdom of restraint, and the profound strength that can be found in stillness amidst the storm. It's a reminder that sometimes the most powerful move is no move at all, a quiet trust that allows God's will to unfold. What does this silent endurance, this strategic stillness, teach us about our spiritual awakening in a world consumed by noise and conflict? If this vision of enduring strength resonates with your spirit type, stillness in the comments below. As the bear remains silent, we turn our gaze to the land of the rising Sunday, a nation prophesied to stand with gardens untouched by flame. What profound message does Japan's enduring spirit hold for us, and how can we cultivate an inner strength that survives the outer storms of biblical prophecy? Nostradamus's quatrain concerning Japan is deeply intriguing. The land of the rising sun shall not set even when iron serpents coil the seas. It will stand with gardens untouched by flame, and minds sharper than any blade of the West. These poetic lines convey resilience, harmony, and an enduring spirit, traits that Japan has consistently demonstrated. How does a relatively small island nation constantly exposed to devastating natural disasters manage not just to survive, but to thrive with such quiet strength? Japan's history is a testament to its resilience in overcoming adversity. It has endured atomic bombings, devastating tsunamis, shattering earthquakes, and nuclear meltdowns. Yet each time it rises with a quiet, almost miraculous strength, much like the cherry blossom blooming after a long winter. Walk through a Japanese garden, and you'll notice every stone, every tree, placed with meticulous purpose. This reflects a more profound cultural truth, that order, mindfulness, and profound respect for nature are not luxuries but necessities for survival. This inner discipline enables them to rebuild not just physical structures but also their sense of community and destiny, leading to a powerful spiritual awakening. Consider the 2011 tsunami. The town of Rikuzen Takata was utterly ruined, yet amidst the debris stood a single pine tree, battered but miraculously alive. This miracle pine became a symbol of hope. People from all over Japan drew inspiration from its solitary endurance, rebuilding their collective spirit. Japan didn't merely rebuild its infrastructure, it rebuilt its soul. So when Nostradamus writes of gardens untouched by flame, he likely means more than a literal interpretation. It may speak to a deeper inner space of beauty, order, and discipline that remains unburned, even when the world is engulfed in the fires of chaos and end-time signs. And those minds sharper than any blade of the West. These could refer to Japan's precision engineering, pioneering, robotics, advanced artificial intelligence, and relentless technological innovation. Tools not of war, but of survival, reconstruction crafted with a foresight that rivals the finest weapons. This points to a wisdom beyond brute force, rooted in thoughtful creation and strategic resilience. This isn't just about geopolitics or a human prophecy. It's about how we respond to hardship. When everything you know is shaken, do you collapse or do you adapt and rebuild with an even stronger inner foundation? Can you, like Japan, preserve your inner garden from the flames of chaos, finding peace amidst uncertainty? James 1:2-4 teaches, "Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work, so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything." The real message here is that any of us, through discipline, balance, and the will to grow after devastation, can survive and even flourish. In your own life, are you building an inner world that can endure the outer storms? Are you sharpening your skills not for dominance but for resilience, cultivating the unvarnished truth of your spirit? If the enduring spirit of Japan inspires you, type "inner garden" in the comments. Finally, we arrive at the most debated prophecy, a land shielded not by armies but by fate itself, where a river swallows stars and music guides the children. Could this be India or Brazil? And what ultimate lesson about unity, faith, and God's promise does this final survivor reveal for the chosen ones? This quatrain from Nostradamus is puzzling yet deeply evocative. Where the river swallows stars and music guides the children, a land of many tongues shall unite, shielded by no army but fate itself. The river that swallows stars could poetically refer to either the sacred Ganges in India or the mighty Amazon in Brazil, both great rivers flowing through richly cultured and resilient nations. The phrase "music guides the children" speaks of a land where joy, creativity, and strong community shape the people's spirit more than conflict. This highlights a societal fabric woven with harmony, nurturing the next generation through cultural richness. A land of many tongues clearly points to profound diversity. India, with its hundreds of languages, or Brazil with its vibrant fusion of indigenous African and European influences, perfectly fit this. This diversity isn't a division but a powerful source of strength, holding firm against external pressures. But the most significant line, perhaps with the most profound spiritual meaning, is shielded by no army but fate itself. This isn't about military might. It suggests survival through a deeper force, unity in diversity, an unyielding spiritual core, profound adaptability, and unwavering faith in something larger than ourselves, a divine plan that transcends earthly conflicts. Looking at India, we see a country grounded in ancient wisdom, yet surging forward with a young population and rapidly growing economy. It's a land of contradiction and convergence, where the digital revolution meets timeless temples, and where democracy breathes despite internal struggles. Mahatma Gandhi famously said, "The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others." This mindset of selflessness and deep spirituality could be why India endures against all odds. Its resilience stems not from military force but from the spiritual fabric of its people. Brazil, on the other hand, is geographically distant from major global conflict zones, incredibly rich in biodiversity and culturally vibrant. Its isolation and non-aggressive foreign policy could contribute to its safety. Yet beyond Brazil or India, this prophecy asks us something more profound about the truth of survival. Could future survivors be those choosing harmony over hatred, music over missiles, and community over conquest? Those who understand the strongest shield isn't steel, but spirit. Galatians 3:28 teaches, "There is neither Jew nor Gentile, neither slave nor free, nor is there male and female, for you are all one in Christ Jesus." This biblical truth echoes the unity this prophecy hints at. Perhaps the fifth survivor isn't a superpower, but a people who instinctively live, simply adapt quietly, and stay deeply rooted in human connection and a shared spiritual bond. The lesson isn't just about India or Brazil. It's about how we, the chosen ones, might become truly resilient. Are we preparing by stockpiling material strength, or by planting seeds of peace, connection, and understanding that will carry us through fulfilling God's promise? What truly protects us in times of global collapse? Is it walls, weapons, or the wisdom to live in balance with others and with the divine? If the power of unity and faith resonates with your spirit, type "United" in the comments. If only 5 nations endure, what chilling fate awaits the rest of the world? And how do Nostradamus's grim visions of a silenced planet echo the stark warnings found in the ultimate biblical prophecies about the Great Tribulation? While Nostradamus refrains from explicitly naming which nations will fall, his imagery paints a bleak, haunting picture, chillingly close to today's fears. His prophecies speak of a planet in torment, cities scorched by unrelenting fire from the skies, perhaps symbolizing aerial warfare or desperate missile launches. Iron birds raining fire could mean modern aircraft unleashing destruction, hinting at drone strikes or nuclear conflict. Crowns melting suggests not just the fall of regimes, but the collapse of trusted institutions. Cities drowning in silver foam evoke tsunamis or coastal metropolises submerged by rising seas, a grim climate change warning. It could also reflect an economic collapse, where silver is used as currency, markets imploding under the weight of debt or war. Nostradamus continues with a chilling line, "The hour will come when the world breathes ash and silence becomes the new law." This stark vision of a world silenced by disaster resonates deeply amidst geopolitical tensions, escalating environmental crises, and fragmented societies. It's more than physical devastation. It's a meditation on the silence when human connection, dialogue, and compassion are replaced by fear, division, and destruction. This mirrors biblical prophecies of judgment, where the very fabric of existence seems to unravel. Revelation 6:12-14 paints a similar terrifying scene. I watched as he opened the 6th seal. There was a great earthquake. The sun turned black, the whole moon turned blood red, and the stars in the sky fell to earth. This suggests an upheaval far beyond human comprehension, a cosmic unraveling that precedes ultimate divine intervention. Yet within this dire warning lies a more profound truth for us: the world's fate isn't fixed. Though Nostradamus offers despairing glimpses, our response shapes what comes next. Are we fostering peace or merely consuming conflict noise? Are we strengthening our communities or letting fear dictate values? Now nurturing clarity, kindness, and spiritual awakening is vital. Storms may come, but if we live wisely, connected, and awake to each other's needs, perhaps that silence won't be ruin, but a pause for something compassionate to emerge aligned with God's promise. As we've seen, prophecies are not just warnings. They are invitations to reflect, to awaken, and to choose a different path. Whether only 5 nations survive, the real question is, will we be ready not just with strength but with wisdom, compassion, and unity, becoming the chosen ones who stand firm in the ultimate truth?